I need to be direct about what we're tracking. The Arctic air mass I've been monitoring for 72 hours has intensified beyond initial models, and we're looking at a historic cold blast affecting over 200 million Americans across 5 days. This isn't a typical January cold snap. The combination of record-breaking temperatures, sustained duration, and geographic extent puts this system in a category we haven't seen since 2019 and 2021 polar vortex events. What makes this particularly dangerous is how quickly temperatures will drop and remain at life-threatening levels across regions rarely experiencing this extreme cold. The Arctic high-pressure system centered over northern Manitoba is producing the coldest air mass I've tracked in my career. Surface temperatures this morning are minus 45 degrees across central Canada, with this system preparing to surge southward. By afternoon, the leading edge will cross into North Dakota and Minnesota, bringing an immediate 30 to 40 degree temperature drop within 3 hours. Minneapolis will fall from 15 degrees to minus 20 by evening. Fargo could crash to minus 30 degrees by sunset. Tonight marks the beginning of a sustained Arctic siege across the northern United States. The high-pressure center will position itself over the upper Midwest, creating circulation that will pump Arctic air continuously southward for 72 hours. By midnight, International Falls will reach minus 35 degrees. Duluth could bottom out near minus 30. Green Bay will drop to minus 25. These are actual air temperatures that will stress infrastructure not designed for this cold level. Natural gas demand will spike across Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa as heating systems work at maximum capacity. As we move into Friday morning, the Arctic air will accelerate its southward push. Chicago will wake up to temperatures near minus 15 degrees, with wind chills approaching minus 40. Milwaukee will see similar conditions. The entire Great Lakes region will be locked in a deep freeze that will persist for at least 96 hours. What concerns me most about Friday is how rapidly this cold air will move into areas that have been experiencing near normal temperatures. Kansas City will drop from 25 degrees Thursday evening to minus 5 degrees Friday morning. St. Louis could reach minus 8 degrees, which would break the daily record by 12 degrees. By Friday afternoon, I'm tracking this system as it spreads across a massive geographic area from the Dakotas through the Ohio Valley. Des Moines will be struggling with minus 18 degrees. Omaha could reach minus 12. The cold will be moving so fast that utilities across Nebraska and Iowa will have limited time to prepare their systems. I'm particularly concerned about power grid stability in areas where natural gas infrastructure could be stressed by the sudden demand surge combined with potential equipment failures in extreme cold. Friday night into Saturday morning represents the peak intensity of this Arctic blast across the central United States. Wind chills will reach levels that are simply not sustainable for human exposure. Minneapolis will see wind chills drop to minus 60 degrees. Chicago's wind chill could reach minus 50. Even as far south as Indianapolis, we're looking at wind chills near minus 35 degrees. These are values that can cause frostbite in less than 5 minutes of exposure. I need to emphasize that these conditions will persist through the weekend, not just for a few hours. The southern extent of this Arctic air is what makes this event particularly historic. By Saturday morning, the cold will penetrate deep into the southern United States in ways that our infrastructure systems are not prepared for. Little Rock will drop to 8 degrees, breaking records. Memphis could reach 5 degrees. Nashville will likely bottom out near 2 degrees. These cities do not have the heating infrastructure or winterization protocols that northern cities maintain. Power grids across Tennessee, Arkansas, and northern Mississippi will face unprecedented strain. What amplifies my concern about Saturday is the wind component. Sustained winds of 25 to 35 mph across the Great Plains will create wind chills that approach the limits of what our measurement systems are designed to track. North Platte, Nebraska could see wind chills reach -65 degrees. Valentine, Nebraska might approach -70. These are values that pose immediate life threats and will shut down transportation systems completely. Interstate 80 across Nebraska and Wyoming will likely close for extended periods. Sunday morning brings the southern surge that I've been calculating with increasing confidence over the past 24 hours. The Arctic air will push into Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi in ways that will test infrastructure systems that rarely face freezing temperatures for extended periods. Dallas will drop to 12 degrees, which would break the daily record by 15 degrees. Shreveport could reach 8 degrees. Jackson, Mississippi might bottom out near 10 degrees. The duration of freezing temperatures across these areas will last 60 to 72 hours, which is unprecedented for this region. The power grid implications of Sunday's cold push are what keep me monitoring this situation so closely. Texas's electrical system will face simultaneous challenges from heating demand spikes and potential equipment failures. Natural gas production facilities across Oklahoma and Texas that are not fully winterized will risk operational problems. I'm tracking reports from energy companies about preparation efforts, but the speed and intensity of this cold surge will test systems that haven't faced this level of stress since February 2021. By Sunday afternoon, we'll have what I consider the most geographically extensive Arctic air mass over the United States that I've documented in my forecasting career. From International Falls to Houston, temperatures will be 25 to 45 degrees below normal. Wind chills across a 500-mile stretch will range from -70 in Minnesota to -20 as far south as central Texas. Transportation systems across this entire corridor will face severe disruptions. Airports in Chicago, Minneapolis, Kansas City, Dallas, and Memphis will deal with equipment failures and operational challenges that will create ripple effects across the national air transportation system. Monday represents the beginning of what will be a slow moderation, but I need to stress that recovery will be gradual. The Arctic high will finally begin shifting eastward, but temperatures will remain well below normal across most of the central and eastern United States through midweek. Chicago will struggle to reach 0 degrees Monday. St. Louis might climb to 8 degrees. These are still dangerously cold values that will maintain stress on infrastructure systems. The eastern United States will begin feeling the effects of this Arctic mass Monday night into Tuesday. Philadelphia will drop to 5 degrees Tuesday morning. New York City could reach 8 degrees. Boston might bottom out near 0. While these cities have more experience with extreme cold, the duration of sub-freezing temperatures will stress aging infrastructure across the Northeast corridor. What makes this forecast particularly challenging is the uncertainty around exactly how far south the coldest air will penetrate. My confidence is high that record or near-record cold will affect areas from Minneapolis to Dallas. There's still some model disagreement about whether cities like Atlanta, Birmingham, or Jacksonville will see their coldest temperatures in over a decade. I'm monitoring the southern extent closely, and will have better clarity on those details within the next 12 hours. The infrastructure implications of this Arctic blast extend far beyond just cold temperatures. Natural gas pipeline systems across the Midwest and South will face pressure demands they haven't experienced since 2021. Electrical transmission lines will contract and potentially fail in the extreme cold. Water systems in cities not accustomed to extended freezing will risk pipe failures and service interruptions. The cumulative effect of 5 days of unprecedented cold across such a large area creates cascading risks that emergency management officials are actively preparing for. I want to be clear about the life safety aspects of what we're tracking. The combination of extreme cold and sustained winds will create conditions where exposed skin can freeze in less than 5 minutes across much of the affected area. Homeless populations in cities throughout the Midwest and South will face immediate life threats. Vehicle failures will increase exponentially as batteries and fuel systems struggle with temperatures they weren't designed to handle. Carbon monoxide risks will spike as people use inappropriate heating methods or run vehicles in enclosed spaces. The agricultural implications are also significant. Livestock across Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri will face conditions that require immediate protective measures. Citrus crops in Texas and Louisiana that survived recent freezes will face another critical test. Water systems for livestock operations across the affected area will risk freezing, creating animal welfare emergencies. Ranchers and farmers have limited time to implement protective measures before conditions become critical. This Arctic blast represents the most significant cold weather event to affect the United States since the February 2021 system that caused widespread power failures across Texas. The geographic scope is actually larger than that event, and the duration of extreme cold is comparable. Emergency management agencies across 25 states are coordinating preparation efforts. Power companies have been implementing cold weather protocols since Wednesday. Transportation departments are positioning equipment and personnel for what could be days of system shutdowns. I'll continue monitoring the evolution of this system around the clock. There are still aspects of the forecast that could change, particularly regarding the exact timing of the coldest air's arrival in southern cities and how long sub-freezing temperatures persist in areas like central Texas and Louisiana. What I'm confident about is that this will be a historic cold weather event that will test infrastructure systems, stress emergency services,